Movies You Missed podcast is back, everybody. Welcome back to episode 212, just after our 4-year episode here of Movies You Missed podcast, where we discuss movies that have fallen under the radar, and also we don't spoil them here. There's no spoilers in 4 years here at Movies You Missed podcast, and that's a pretty sweet statistic.
I think it's a pretty big feat.
Today, we're not going to spoil any of the movies that we're going to discuss today, because both V and I have picked movies that neither of us had seen. I hadn't seen V's, and V hadn't seen mine, but we'll get into that shortly. How are you doing, V, after our 4-year anniversary dropped last week? All good, relaxed, ready for a new episode?
I am, John, thank you. And I'm looking forward to this one because I think it'll be a really interesting discussion on both sides. And I like that we're introducing each other to a new movie again. We were able to do that for our Mother's Day episode a couple weeks ago. So
yeah,
it's always fun when we get to introduce each other to new movies, although we both then wait with bated breath to see if the other one liked it.
Yes, we do. V, I believe you start us off. Ready to jump in?
Almost. I think you should tell our audience what our theme this week is.
Oh, what's the theme? Because I don't know.
So
coming of age.
Much angst.
Angst, coming of age, lonesomeness.
Family drama, kind of.
Familial drama, yeah.
Boyhood angst.
Boyhood angst, adulthood angst. Cool, let's get into the angst. What are you angst?
Well, now that word has lost all meaning for me, thank you. I am diving in first,
problem.
Which makes sense because actually my character is a bit younger than your movie, so it kind of has a nice flow to the episode, I think, that way. Despite the fact that my movie came out much later than yours, in 2013, in fact. I picked a movie that John had never seen before and has a stacked cast. I watched it once right after it came out because it had received such great reviews, and when John had put his pick on our list, I thought this would be a good pairing to it. So we will see if John agrees with that statement in just a little bit. I picked the 2013 movie called The Way, Way Back.
Way back from where?
That's a great question. I'm happy to tell you, and that's actually a piece of trivia. So,
oh, all right then.
The Way, Way Back is actually in reference to the very back third seat of station wagons and large SUVs.
Okay.
And so when Duncan is sitting in the way, way back of that car, in that seat, literally and figuratively, hence the title of the movie, we actually had a third back seat in our Suburban. We had a 1983 Suburban. It was awesome. It's a stick shift, beast of a car. My parents have 5 kids. Makes sense. And my dad actually bolted a third seat into the very, very the way, way back.
Hey.
I sat in that seat when we drove down to Disneyland when I was like 9.
Oh, hell yeah.
But I mean, I was always relegated to that back seat because I was one of the younger ones.
Just sitting the way, way back, V.
That is exactly a statement that I've heard in my childhood.
We had a Dodge Durango in my early teenage years, and my sister and I would always fight for the way, way back seat. And because I could either pull out my Walkman or my Game Boy and just play and just kind of shut off from the rest of the car.
So we didn't have a Game Boy growing up. We played a lot of analog games growing up, like the license game, Slug Bug. We also had Mad Libs, and there was a trivia game. God, I just sent it to my family recently as a picture. But there was a really cool trivia game that was on like a spindle that you could like slide each page through and stuff. And it was really fun. Things you should know, or I don't forget what it was called. But anyway, really popular in the 90s. For our listeners, we'd love to hear what games you used to play before the invention of the smartphone or the iPad.
Yeah.
Or the Game Boy, in John's case. We'd love to hear what games you used to have to play on long road trips. So this young man named Duncan, who is 14, he's played by Liam James. He actually is young Sean in the show Psych, and he's also in The Killing, which is a great show. You and I would recognize him, well, I've seen The Killing, but you and I would definitely recognize him from the god-awful movie that is 2012. He's the kid.
Oh, you know, I don't think I've ever seen that movie all the way through. I only watched it when the wave comes in and they're like flying the plane. And that was all I ever saw that movie. And I remember seeing that when I was working at the Ant Farm, a trailer house in West Hollywood. But yeah, never actually saw that movie.
I always equate that and Greenland together.
Greenland's better.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
So anyway, Duncan is 14 and he lives with his mother who has been divorced. His mother is actually played by Toni Collette. She plays Pam.
Mm-hmm.
We love her. I mean, we talk about her a lot.
Oh, yeah.
The Sixth Sense, Little Miss Sunshine, Hereditary.
Yeah.
She also plays one of the sisters in Knives Out. She's good in it.
Oh.
Most recently, she's in Kate Winslet's movie from last year called Goodbye June. She's one of the sisters, and it's really good. And so is she. So Pam and Duncan are now with this man named Trent, played by Steve Carell, in a role that you will never have seen him before.
Mm-hmm.
When he starts talking, you are actually shocked.
Oh, by what he says, you mean?
Yeah, and then it's
yeah.
coming out of Steve Carell's mouth because he's never played a character like this.
Right,
The one other time he played a darker character, he had a bunch of prosthetic makeup on because that was actually in Foxcatcher.
Oh, yeah, I still got to see that.
Some of the Steve Carell roles that I love that I just want to mention, especially because John hates it, is Despicable Me. John hates it.
Absolutely gut-wrenchingly, atrociously bad. That character, I will never forget the first time I actually heard that character speak. We were at Universal Studios, and I was in a gift shop, and I started hearing this thing, and I literally looked at my wife and goes, "What the fuck is that noise?" And I looked up, and it was Despicable Me 1 or 2, and I was like, well, there it is. I'm never, ever going to watch this.
Fair. But other roles of his that I absolutely love, The Big Short, Crazy Stupid Love,
oh, yeah.
Date Night, Get Smart.
No.
I know, you hate that movie. Oh, that would be a good movies we hate episode. You really hate that movie.
I never want to watch that movie again.
Damn it. Okay, so that's actually next level veto beyond hate.
Yeah, that's veto. I never know.
Okay.
Nope.
So Pam and Duncan are with Trent, and they're actually in a large station wagon. Duncan is in the way back, and Trent's daughter is in the middle seat, and they're driving out to the beach in Massachusetts where Trent owns a beach house. He seems to be a rather successful car salesman. He probably owns the lot.
Yeah.
And it's become clear that Pam and Duncan, after she got divorced, they're living in a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. They're not well off, and Trent and his daughter is. And you get a lot of that because Trent's daughter is an entitled bee. She's awful. She's the worst teenage girl.
Typical blonde teenage girl.
Yeah. And the dialogue there is actually written pretty accurately because I was once a teenage girl and was subjected to that kind of behavior. Pam is currently asleep and Trent's daughter is listening to music on her headphones, and so now it's just Trent and Duncan talking. And this is how the movie sets up Trent and Duncan's relationship as his mom's boyfriend.
Let me ask you something. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think you are? Duncan, I'm asking you how you see yourself. Scale of 1 to 10.
I don't know.
I can't hear you, bud. You have to speak up.
I don't know.
What don't you know? How you see yourself? You don't have any opinion. Pick any number. Scale of 1 to 10. Just shout it out. Just say a number.
A 6.
A what?
A 6.
I think you're a 3. You know why I think you're a 3? You know what would make me say that?
No.
You don't know? You have no idea.
No.
You gotta speak up, buddy.
No!
Well, since I've been dating your mom, I don't see you putting yourself out there, bud. Meeting kids your own age, and from what your mom tells me, you just seem content to hang around her apartment. Is that a fair assessment? You're just happy to not do anything? Because, damn, to me, that is a 3.
What an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
The kid's 14. And so now we're out at this beach house and we meet a colorful cast of characters, including Alice and Janney playing their neighbor Betty, who is currently off the wagon, or back on. What is it when you start drinking?
She's definitely
again?
back
off.
on.
No, you're off the wagon when you've been drinking. That's what it is.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So
I'm on the wagon and then I'm
sober.
off the wagon again.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's right. So she's definitely off the wagon. She's one of those people. Betty is great, but she's one of those people who she's a whole lot, but you can't help but be friends with her because she's just so entertaining.
Yeah, she was entertaining.
So she's a little bit of a hot mess too. Allison Janney, we love her too. I love every actor in this movie. Allison Janney is the awesome stepmom in Juno. She's Miss Perky in 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yep.
She won an Oscar for I, Tonya.
Hell yeah, she did.
And we also love to quote her because she plays the starfish in Finding Nemo. Today's the day!
Yep, your favorite part.
We also now met a couple of Trent's friends. They are a literal couple. Rob Corddry plays Kip, and Amanda Peet plays his wife, Joan. We've talked about Amanda Peet before because she's in the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, she is.
She's also in Something's Gotta Give. She's Diane Keaton's daughter.
Hell yeah.
She's in a pretty underrated rom-com that I didn't hate. It's called A Lot Like Love with Ashton Kutcher.
Oh, I remember that one. I don't think I saw it, though.
Yeah, it's actually not bad. I think it's pretty underrated. And also she plays Liam James, the boy who plays Duncan in this movie, his mother in 2012. So they've worked together again.
Weird.
Yeah, which is cool. Okay, so now we're at the beach in Massachusetts, and all these adults are friends, hanging out, having a really good time, and Duncan is miserable. His dad's out in California. He says he's setting up his house before Duncan can come out there. He's at the mercy of Trent, who is just this passive-aggressive a-hole, and he's very talented at it, and I've met people like this, and they're the worst because they seem to be making innocuous statements in front of other people, but because of the history with him and Duncan, you can tell it's very passive-aggressive, very insulting, very cruel. But to other people, it just seems like a regular statement, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he just needles Duncan all the time. It's very clear that Trent either is threatened by him or doesn't like him or just really wants to be a giant asshole and has found his next victim. While Duncan is miserable out at this beach, he keeps going out to explore and actually finds a local water park. And this is where he meets Owen, played by Sam Rockwell. I love him in Galaxy Quest playing Guy.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get out of here before one of those things kills Guy. He's also Justin Hammer in Iron Man 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He has a great monologue, and it's like the best part of that entire movie because that movie isn't great. But also, he won a Best Supporting Actor Oscar for 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. And funny enough, he and Allison Janney won their Best Supporting Oscar awards the same year, 2017,
that's cool.
which was kind of cool. And then Maya Rudolph also works at the water park. She plays Caitlin. Yes, of course, she's from SNL. She's great, but I love her as the judge in The Good Place.
I've seen 3 episodes of The Good Place in my life.
God,
I've
I can't
never watched
believe
it all the way through.
It's so good. And of course, she's also in Bridesmaids.
Yes, of course. And a great show on Apple called Loot. That's pretty good.
Oh, I haven't seen it before. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. A rare series that I've watched.
Yeah. And she's also married to Paul Thomas Anderson, who just won a bunch of Oscars for One Battle After Another.
For a terrible movie.
For a terrible movie.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. But Duncan actually finds some friends at this water park. Owen really takes him under his wing. And God, Sam Rockwell is so good as this character. He's just fast talking. He's just a better Ryan Reynolds in terms of the sarcastic guy who doesn't have a ton of ambition. And the nice thing is that Owen actually offers Duncan a job for the summer. And this is where Duncan really starts to come out of his shell. And now we're with these cast of characters as we go through the summer, as Duncan tries to navigate not only his family life, but who he is and maybe a girl he likes and making friends. He's very shy. He's very awkward. And it's just this beautiful story of this boy who doesn't really fit in anywhere and finds a place where people accept him while also trying to figure out how to deal with his jerk of a almost stepfather. And there are a couple reasons why I love this movie. Not only do I love the cast, I think they all play their characters very well. I do think all of these people are real people in real life. They don't seem to be caricatures. The dialogue seems to be authentic as well. And this boy, I really like that this boy didn't have to change his entire personality to become friends with somebody. A lot of coming of age stories is like, oh, now I'm going to act like a more popular kid, which is how I make friends. These introverts can stay being introverts and still find people to love and accept them. I absolutely adore that about this movie. I do like the character arcs. I like where the movie ends. I do think it's a beautiful story and just a snapshot of a summer in someone's childhood. And so I really like this movie, and I think that this is a good movie to bring to the podcast as well because it is underrated. It only had a $5 million budget, and so I think it's actually really perfect for the podcast, and I thought it was a good pairing for your pick as well. I know you'd never seen it before, and I've gotten an inclination of what you possibly thought about it, so I am curious because maybe we're about to get in an argument.
No, I don't think we're going to get into an argument. I did not enjoy the movie very much. There were moments about the movie I enjoyed. When I saw who wrote the movie, I got a very sour taste in my mouth. And it's unfortunate to say that because I don't like these two guys as writers. I like them as actors. Like crazy. I love Jim Rash. You didn't talk about who wrote or directed the movie, so if it's okay for me to jump in.
Yes, please.
Jim Rash is a monumental comedic actor. If you've ever seen Community, he's the dean, and he holds that show together so well in so many different episodes. Now, granted, that show is an ensemble cast. That show is hilarious up until about like halfway through season 3, almost season 4. Nat Faxon, is that his name? Nat Faxon?
Faxon.
Nat Faxon. Okay. He's a great comedic actor as well. He has a great scene with Steve Coogan in Hamlet 2. I know you hate Hamlet 2, but Nat Faxon is in a wonderful scene with
Yes.
Steve Coogan in Hamlet 2, talking about how to print a script on different colored paper. Nat Faxon is also great in a very small role in Orange County, and he is fan-frickin-tastic in Beer Fest as one of the German cousins. Absolutely fantastic. Love him as a comedic actor. Cannot stand the movies that these two guys write together. They won an Academy Award for an absolute piece of garbage called The Descendants, based off a book.
Most people would disagree with you.
And I don't know how, because that movie is so ridiculous. The concept of that movie pisses me off so much.
That's the George
But
Clooney
we're not here to
movie
talk
when
about-
he's here in Hawaii, when he's out in Hawaii.
Yeah, when his wife is dying and he finds out that his wife has been cheating on him. So what does he do for the entire movie? Tries to track down the guy that's been banging his wife so that this guy can go say goodbye to her before she dies. Fuck that movie in every single orifice that exists. Anyway, here to talk about The Way, Way Back. That movie pissed me off so much.
Clearly.
Yeah,
You
so
really,
The Way, Way
really,
Back.
really hate cheating storylines, though. We have to
Yeah,
let our
not a big
audience
fan.
know that
I always have ever
Yeah.
since I was a teenager. I just never liked any of that kind of stuff. Anyway, The Way, Way Back. Didn't like that they wrote the movie. I don't know who directed The Way, Way Back. I'm sure you'll tell
Both
me in a
of
minute. Oh, see, there it is. Is this based on a book or is this an original story?
this is an original story.
Okay, original story. Okay, yeah. Definitely hated Steve Carell. Did a great job of being hated. I loved to hate the guy. There's a scene in the backyard where he tries to actually like fight this kid, and I'm sitting here like, come on, dude, are you really? And of course, yeah, that's his character. He's a fucking little man child.
And he's been
And
drinking.
That is, yeah, and he's been drinking a little bit. Not that he's like sloshing around or anything. I liked a lot of the coming of age aspect of it. Now, granted, I've always been an outgoing person, and I've never been one to be like shunned away into a corner. So when I see people and teenagers act like this, it does make me want to slap them in the face and say, grow the fuck up and get the fuck out there and start experiencing your life. Stop being this shut-in and sitting on roofs of cars and listening to your Walkman all day. Now, I've done that, and I still do that as an adult, but I'm also a functioning person of society. And then he goes out on the bike, and he starts to hang out at this water park, and Sam Rockwell saved the movie for me. And so did Jim Rash in the very small part that Jim Rash had. And I actually like that Nat Faxon's in the movie too, the water slide guy, the whole like hold so this kid can like check out a girl's bikini body and all that kind of stuff. Like totally get that. I've been there as a camper at the camp you and I met at. Of course, I had counselors like, yeah, man, go talk to her, yada, yada, yada. So that all was very true to life for me. But the whole, I'm just too afraid of talking to people and talking to the girl next door and that was just never my personality, so I can't relate to that.
Wow, that is
I can't relate to it.
so
I'm just saying.
judgy. And
It is
especially
judgy.
because
I know
your
that.
wife is a hardcore introvert. You would think that you would have a little more sympathy for a personality like that.
For my wife, I do. For this little boy, I do not.
He doesn't have.
I don't.
Oh, as someone who's had a lot of social challenges and someone who has a big personality and yet is still shunned into the corner sometimes based on different social dynamics and different experiences, like I've had many, many challenges with social situations. I have challenges with being out in public or in large crowds. And I do listen to my headphones and lock myself away in my home for days on end because I'm a secret introvert.
Oh,
So
I
you
gotcha.
saying
Okay.
that of like grow up, that's like telling you to change your hair color to black. It's literally his personality. And not having any sort of compassion or sympathy for him and just saying, oh, change yourself is so judgy. I can't believe you
It's
just said
not
that.
judgy. Like, literally,
Yeah, it is.
Get out of the house and go do stuff. Now, he goes to the beach with his stepsister, and he's just like, he just sits there on the, I don't know. That's the thing is like, I never was like that, so I can't relate to it.
And that's exactly what I was worried about with this movie, because I didn't think that you would have a lot of understanding for this young boy. And so I didn't think you'd like the film.
Okay,
And it turns out I'm right.
And you were right. Yes, you're right. And I'm not trying to. It's tough. Our audience might be yelling at me right now in their
I
cars
hope
or on their
so.
hot girl walks. Yeah, and they have every right to. It's fine. That's and like we've had this conversation about things going on in the world, like not on the podcast, but you and I.
Yes.
And there are things that I don't understand,
Correct.
and there are things that you don't understand.
Yes.
And that's okay.
It is, as long
It's
as you don't
totally
assign
fine.
judgment to the lack of your understanding.
I am not necessarily assigning judgment to this kid. It's really more just like, I guess at the same time, I've never had a stepfather. I never had a mother or a father berate me. I've never had them, tell me I couldn't do anything or anything like that. Now, Toni Collette's a little bit more get out there, have some fun, and Trent is more just like, hey, little bitch, go out there. Now, to an extent, I feel like I would be a blend of both of them, where I would understand where their mindset is at the same time. Now, granted, I also don't have a child. So if I had a child that was like this,
might be a problem.
I don't know and maybe it's a good thing I don't have kids, and I don't need anybody's opinion on that. You don't really know me, but I am very much in love with my nieces and my nephew. They love Uncle John. They think I'm, the most fun person on the planet.
They're also very extroverted and very playful.
They are very extroverted, yes. Now, not to say that I don't have my moments of introvertedness. I'll spend a day sitting in my theater room alone for 8 hours watching movies. That's also, though, because I just spent 45 hours in 5 days serving alcohol to loud and obnoxious people at a bar. So I need that for me. This kid is in high school. What does he have to worry about? I just don't get it. I never was like that in high school. I hung out with very extroverted people, still had one or two introverted friends, especially on the swim team, and I was one of the people with a few others that were trying to break these people out of their shell. And that's why I like Sam Rockwell so much, because he reminded myself of me in high school, and still to this day.
Yes.
Like if I meet if I meet somebody that's new at the bar and they're like, oh, not a customer, but like say somebody's coming in and wants to be a bartender, they've bartended very little, and they bartend in their small town, that they grew up in, and now they're in the city that I live in, or they're in Los Angeles or in Las Vegas, and they're just kind of like, hey, what can I get you? It's like, no, get out there and be like, what's going on, man? How's the day? Hey, what do you like to drink? What are you in the mood for? You want a cocktail? You want a beer? You want a shot? There's just ways of blossoming out of your introvertedness.
No, it's a personality trait. That's the thing.
I just feel like being an introvert it's a weird way of spending your life, and then like when you grow up, Say you're like 13 through 17 in high school, you're an introvert like this kid is for a majority of the movie, and he meets this character Sam Rockwell's playing, and Sam Rockwell starts to get him out of his shell. Now, granted, in no water park in my entire life have I ever seen kids standing around and breakdancing, ever in my life. That was a ridiculous scene. However,
I knew you'd hate
he gets
that scene.
out there. I hated that scene. But he gets over there and he does it, and everyone's like, "Oh, what do they call him? Pringle or something like? What do they call him? They give him some nickname.
Pop-lock.
I can't.
Pop
Pop-lock.
Pop and lock.
Pringle. Well, once you pop, you can't stop. So basically, I was right with the Pringle part.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
That was
okay,
just so stupid. I was like, "Come on, this does not happen at water parks." Anyway. So let me just finish before we get into it a little bit more. I know that there are people that are introverts in their teenage years, and then in their adult life, like, yeah, I was so introverted, like didn't experience high school, and then all they do is complain about it. And it's like, well, you chose to do that. Like that was your personality.
Do you choose
like you
to have
sat
a
at
heart
home.
condition?
That developed, and just like anything else can develop, I understand this. I'm not trying to be an ignorant, arrogant prick on this episode about this kid being an introvert. Because, again, I don't understand that lifestyle. I've always been outgoing. I've always been... So I understand it's out there. It just blows my mind that people later in life will come out of their introvertedness and then say, oh, I wasted so many years of my life being an introvert. This is what life's all about. It's like, well, no shit. Like, experience it. Like, get out there. Enjoy it. Go to theme parks.
Clearly, you're just friends with extroverts because, look, I'll tell you.
Maybe that's what it is.
So
and I know my wife is an introvert.
Well, and it's so funny that we're talking...
Opposites attract.
Apparently. But it's so funny because you and I have been really good friends since we were 12 years old, but we only saw each other at summer camp. I don't know if you and I would have been friends in high school if we went to the same high school.
I honestly have no idea.
My best friends in high school were the guidance counselor and her husband.
Okay, see, that's weird.
There you go.
That's a little, but you were also in a small town with one street light and very small
I also had
population.
a lot. I was very socially awkward.
See, I've completely... No, you weren't. No, you were not.
That's my mom.
Not
she
at
listens
camp
to the podcast.
anyway. Not at camp
That's
anyway.
my
Like every time we were at camp and we were doing a group activity, you jumped into the middle of the circle and was like, "Let's do this. Let's do that." You were out there doing it. You were boisterous. You, like you've said, people have said to you, "You are a lot."
I am.
And you are, but
and
you are a lot in a good way.
to being socially awkward. That's a thing. You can be socially awkward and not quiet, right?
Okay. All right. Okay.
And
sure.
so
I wonder if people thought I was like some. They probably did.
And so
They probably
then,
thought
when
I
I'm
was
in high
fucking
school
mental.
and I'm a little too much, or I'm talking about different things, you get really ostracized by high school groups, right? And so then I became very quiet and continue to be very quiet because I got all this negative feedback. And so then I started to. By the time I got to high school, I was a very quiet person at school.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
I'd
'cause we
learned
were
to
at
be
the
quiet.
camp in high school, and you were not quiet when we were at
I
camp.
felt more comfortable
Or-
around those people.
See, okay, well, there you go. Like that's. I guess
But again, that's-
that right there. That's the key.
that's-
You felt more comfortable around those people.
But again, that's
Now-
social anxiety and not navigating things
sure.
well. And now I'm extroverted with my friends, but in a lot of ways, I'm a big introvert too.
Interesting. It's so interesting. I went to a brand new school when I was 12 years old. Like I left my friends behind, left them in the way back, and I don't know. It was now. Granted, of course, when you're in the neighborhood and you're sitting, like on my skateboard and stuff like that, I didn't know anybody in my neighborhood right away. But when I went to junior high, I think it was like the third day that I met Kingsley, who's now my best friend of over 30 years. And then I met Alex, who also best friend for over 30
I
years.
kept zero
so-
friends from high school because I really didn't have any in high school. Let's put it that way.
Wow, that really
I don't talk
kind
to
of
anybody from high
blows
school.
my mind. I
Yeah.
talked to people from high school that were that graduated 3 years after me. Like I still am in touch with these people.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I can
so
tell you that
interesting to hear.
I'm friends with a couple younger classmen
Yeah.
when I go back, but zero people from my class.
Wow.
Yeah, no,
Well, I guess-
know,
okay, so-
and that's my point about this movie is that I've found the groups that accept me. I've found the type
Okay,
of people who love me now.
Yeah.
In high school, I couldn't. He's going through the exact same thing. He hasn't
Okay.
found his people until he gets to the water park. And they
Sure,
accept
yeah.
him for who he is, even though he's
Right,
introverted
right.
and awkward, right? And so
Right,
being
yeah.
on the beach, he's around a bunch of teenage assholes. Of course he's not going to come out of his shell, right?
Yeah, but
They don't
yeah,
accept him.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
So you have to be
okay.
comfortable in order to be yourself, and they're not making him
Right.
comfortable. So that's the whole point.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's also weird because I've never not been myself. Like the person that people hear on the podcast is who I've been since I could articulate words.
Right.
Like that's literally who I am. And I'm not trying to dumb down anybody that's an introvert. I just don't get it. It's weird to me to just hear that
I
kind of stuff.
accept that you don't get it.
Yeah, and that's all I'm asking. That's all, except that I don't get it.
Just
and I'm not.
but you need to accept them.
Now,
So-
I am, yeah, but I'm also 40, and I'm not gonna like walk around and like see some kid that's in the corner and be like, fucking weirdo. I'm gonna like, I will think to myself, like, I wonder what's going on over there. Like, I've seen, kids standing in a corner crying that are probably like 6 or 7 years old where I work because, I don't know, their mom took their video game away or something like that. And I'm always kind of like, oh shit, I hope that kid's okay. I saw a woman crying in her car last night on my way to my car, and I'm like, oh fuck, why is she crying? So like I do have empathy for people out there, and I'm not saying I don't I just can't empathize with this kid, and that's not why I didn't like the movie. I just didn't like the movie.
okay.
But I liked the water park scene. Sam Rockwell was great. Jim Rash was good. And I liked the way that it ended. It just was also a very cliche from beginning to end type of a movie. So and you might say that about my next pick as well. And, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. It's just the way that they're executed. Overall, I would give this movie like a C, like a solid C. I don't think I would watch it again, but to an extent, I understood a lot of the characters. I just didn't understand the main character.
Okay.
And, that maybe that makes me an asshole. So I apologize if I'm coming off as one. I'm not trying to. I'm just saying, like, everybody's different. And in an acceptable way. And I don't shun people for who they are. I don't shun people for their lifestyle or what, how they feel inside. It's something that I don't understand because I've just never been there.
Well, I'm glad you didn't hate it because I do have a couple more pieces of trivia for the movie.
Oh yeah, no, I'm curious about it. Oh yeah, I didn't mention Maya Rudolph. I know you did, but I thought she was pretty good in the movie too. And I
She's
like how
so
she
young,
throws it
too.
back. Yeah, it's Sam Rockwell's character a couple of times.
I loved their conversations when she finally is honest with him about exactly what's going on. I was like, yes, people need to have more honest conversations like that.
Yeah, I agree.
And you do like Jim Rash, which is great because
I do.
Because this script is inspired by a similar conversation he had with his own stepfather when he was 14.
Oh damn! Wow,
Which sucks.
that does fucking sucks.
Poor guy. And in order to save money, Nat Faxon and Jim Rash decided not to get trailers for the actors and instead decided to rent a house for the duration of filming, which was 6 weeks.
Nice.
where the actors could go between takes, and it turned into the hangout spot and the party spot for the entire shoot.
Oh, I'll bet it did.
And Steve Carell actually said no to this movie originally because he likes to take the summers off and go vacationing with his family at the beach. He found out that the shooting location was like 20 minutes from his place.
Oh, wow. Well, that's convenient.
Yeah, so he accepted the job and would commute for his part, which actually only took 10 days to film.
Wow, that's it?
Yeah, I was shocked.
Damn. With all the night and day stuff, for some reason I was like, oh, this was a good 90-day production, maybe more.
No.
Well, definitely not more. It's more of a dialogue movie, not like a whole lot really stunt-wise or anything goes down.
No,
but,
only 6 weeks.
I didn't. Wow, 6 weeks.
Especially with all the background and water park stuff, you think it would have taken longer.
That's exactly. Yeah, because most of the background of the water park are all children.
Yeah,
which
pain.
actually does help shooting. They probably had their pumpkin times and they were like, great,
all done
at 6 p.m.
Yes. Which I refuse to go to water parks, and I haven't for a very long time. I hate communal water. I think it's disgusting.
Why? We just drink it.
No. Communal water that you swim in?
Yeah, I know. That was a joke. It's like the South Park episode where everybody pees in the water.
Yeah. God, no. So even hot tubs at hotels, I will hardly ever get in them because I think they're disgusting. Yeah.
Wow.
Prefer my own personal hot tub instead.
Yeah, I think that's Amy too. When we're in Cancun
she doesn't like
anywhere
germs.
else, she rarely goes in the water.
No, of course not.
She won't go on the beach ever anymore, but she used to when we first started dating, and now she'll come in the pool, but she'd rather just sit on a bench and read, which is totally fine. That's what vacation's for.
For Mother's Day, my sisters and I took our mom to a hot spring spa.
Oh, yeah.
And you actually fill the tubs with hot spring water, and then you empty them as you leave. And it was my ideal spa experience. I was like, this is fresh. Nobody else has been in this but me. I love this. So I was like, I will definitely go back. Yeah.
I do. But I don't know. I'm adventurous. I'll go into a spa with 9 people in it.
It just feels dirty. It's human stew.
It does feel dirty.
Okay?
It is. It's totally human stew.
Yeah. Okay. So no water parks for me.
I haven't been to a water park it's been a while. Yeah. I used to go to Hurricane Harbor all the time.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Season pass to that. And we'd go to Hurricane Harbor and then go over to Six Flags to dry off and ride the rides. That would help us dry off quicker. Sam
Rockwell would improvise and joke around on a loudspeaker during scenes because he has one at the water park. And
of course.
One time he forgot that the water park was full of children, and he made an inappropriate joke about herpes. And the owner of the park got super pissed, and he had to go and apologize so they could continue filming.
Oh, so that's a real water park.
Oh, yeah. And
I thought that was a built for the movie water park.
No, it's a water park named Water Whiz that is also where Grown Ups was shot.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And because Sam Rockwell's in the movie, there's a scene where he dances.
Of course.
And I think my favorite scene of his is when they're walking up the stairs talking about a kid who once passed someone in the water slide.
Yeah.
And he talks about the witnesses, including our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And I think I'm going to play this clip because it's a really good demonstration of how entertaining his character is in this movie.
This is Devil's Peak, the largest water slide in a 50-mile radius. Stretch out the tube end to end, 13 football fields. Now Google that for confirmation. That fact predates technology.
Owen, settle a debate for us.
Hello, boys. Duncan, this is Vladimir, Ishmael, and Ming Li.
Those aren't our names.
Those are the names I'm giving you, Vladdy. These are my illegitimate sons. They all have different mothers. I'm trying to be a positive influence in life. Taking them to Little League, Boys Club, raising pandas to fight.
Shut up, jackass.
Clown fencing, hooker retreats.
Neil said that years ago, some kid figured out how to pass someone on the water slide. Is that true? He did. It's physically impossible, Neil. You can't just catch up to someone and pass them.
Well, actually, Ming Li's right.
See?
I was here when it happened.
All right. Then how'd he do it?
Well, it happened inside the tube, so no one really knows. Only the kid and the person he passed, and, well, Jesus Christ our Lord. But he's a little hard to get a hold of. He won't return my calls. We wore the same shirt to a party, and it got a little weird.
And so that is The Way, Way Back that came out in 2013. I love it. I give it a B+, A- whenever I watch it. Now, this is the second time I've seen it. I'm glad I brought it to the podcast. And John didn't explicitly hate it, which is nice. And we had a really good discussion regarding it. That's the thing, is that I knew you wouldn't like it, but I also knew that we would have a good discussion about it despite that.
For sure.
Or because of that. So I'm glad I brought it to the podcast.
Yeah. I did not hate it. There are many other movies I hate out there, and this is not going to be one that I'm going to walk around and be like, yeah, fuck that movie.
No, you're going to hate The Descendants by these guys instead.
Yeah, that movie. Ugh.
Oh, God. You've actually vetoed a movie or hated a movie that I picked previously because, Waitress, because there was a cheating
Oh, that's right.
storyline in that.
Yes.
Yeah. But on a $5 million budget, this movie made $21.5 million in the United States and $26.5 million worldwide. So it did really well.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Good job.
So I guess I don't think it's underrated. I just think it's forgotten, and a lot more people need to watch it because $26 million is great for the budget, but low for in terms of how many people have seen it.
Yeah.
Well, that is the way back. I really appreciated the discussion. Thank you, John. And now it's time to get to our next angsty movie with a main character who's a little bit older than mine. Why don't you take it away?
All right, I shall. Let's jump back to the year 2004 when this movie came out. Can't believe that this movie is now 22 years old.
Yeah.
I saw it in theaters, actually. My father and I went and saw it at a Laemmle in Pasadena, right around the time I was about to graduate high school up until I was pretty much, even nowadays, we still go to the movies together. But my dad would always come in my room and be like, hey, is there any independent movies out there that we can go see? And my dad's always like, you know what I like? I'm like, yeah, for sure. And most of them were R-rated and whatnot, but nothing too heavily sexualized or anything like that. And I remember showing him the trailer for this movie, and he was like, Garden State? Well, shoot, I grew up in Huntington, Long Island, so yeah, I'm interested in seeing this movie. I don't think he had any idea who Zach Braff was, who is the writer and director of this movie, also stars in this flick. This film also stars Peter Sarsgaard, Natalie Portman, Ian Holm, and a handful of other people, including Gene Smart and a small role by Jim Parsons from The Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
I remember after my dad and I left the theater, we had a great time with this movie, and I've been watching it ever since. My wife is not a fan of this movie. She does not like Zach Braff. I don't not like Zach Braff. I don't love the guy. He doesn't, he's not really the type of actor that I'm like, oh my gosh, he's in that, I'm going to watch it. I am, though, a major fan of Scrubs, and I will say that majority of my fandom for Scrubs comes from John C. McGinley and the guy that plays Dr. Kelso, on top of Donald Faison, who plays Turk, and Judy Reyes, who plays Carla.
Basically everybody except Zach Braff.
But I still like Braff. I don't not like the guy. He definitely makes me laugh in the show, and I really liked him in this movie. And I'm curious to hear what you think, but let's get into the breakdown of Garden State. Garden State starts out with us being introduced to Andrew Largeman. He is a waiter at a Vietnamese restaurant, and unfortunately, he just got a phone call that his mother has died, and his father's asking him to come home for the funeral. Andrew decides that's probably a good idea. He should go and pay his respects to his mother that has just died and see his father. We also find out that Andrew is quite medicated as well. He's we don't know exactly what he's taking, but something is keeping him medicated and on an even keel. He's also got these headaches that have started happening because he's decided now that his mother's passed away, he's going to take a little vacation from the medication that he's been taking over the last 10 years. We also find out over the last 10 years is how long it's been since he's been home to Garden State to see his parents, and now that he's returning, he's got to somehow mend this little rift that he's had with his father over a decade now. Andrew gets to New Jersey, goes to the funeral, starts to reconnect with some people. He reconnects with his buddy Mark, played by Peter Sarsgaard, and a couple other guys he sees at the cemetery. These guys are now the few that will be burying his mother. They invite him out to a party that night. And another tidbit we find out is Andrew, while he is a Vietnamese restaurant waiter, he's also an actor. And he had a TV movie that was very big with Robert De Niro where he plays a mentally challenged football player. Kind of not exactly like Rudy, because Rudy wasn't mentally challenged, but it feels like what we learn about this movie that he was in. It's very Rudy-esque.
Yes, and not quite Simple Jack.
No, not quite Simple Jack. Classic. I would totally watch Simple Jack.
Oh, God, never in a million years could you pay me to watch that film.
Oh, come on, I'd watch it. Although, before Andrew gets to this party, he does kind of have a little bit of a conversation with his father and tells his dad that he's been getting these headaches, and his father's like, oh, I'll call one of my partners in the building that I work at. He'll be able to fit you in, and you can talk to him, see what's going on. We also find out that Andrew's father, played by Ian Holm, has been his psychiatrist since he was a child, which, of course, is usually frowned upon.
Yeah, that is so unethical on so many levels.
Very much so. Yeah. Andrew goes to this doctor's office, and this is where we are introduced to Sam, played by Natalie Portman. They have a really quick meet-cute inside the waiting room of the doctor's office. He's also somewhat sexually assaulted by a German Shepherd in the middle of this waiting room, which I'll tell you how they were able to do that in some of the BTS, which is actually really funny in the making of documentary that's on the DVD. Andrew meets up with this new neurologist, and neurologist is telling him... it's one of the funniest moments in the movie where the neurologist tells Andrew that he's had a bit of a problem in the past where he found his ex-best friend's cufflinks in his wife's purse and that he couldn't get an erection for a year and a half. And Andrew just quietly and calmly says, I don't think that's what's going on with me, but I would really like to just maybe take a break from this medication that I'm on. And the doctor okays it. He's like, yeah, why not? Take a vacation, enjoy your life, see some friends, have a good time while you're out here. Andrew is pretty happy with this doctor's diagnosis that he can take this little vacation from these meds that he's been on. And Sam is outside waiting for her boyfriend to pick her up. But he hasn't picked her up yet, so Andrew offers her a ride home. And I gotta be honest, I just love the back and forth with both of them because she's just so quick-witted, and she comes off as a pathological liar, and she says that she lies all the time, and he says, well, how do I know you're not lying about this? And she goes, well, you could choose to trust me. And he's like, you know what? Yeah, I could choose to trust you. And Andrew's actually been driving around this really cool old-fashioned motorcycle with a sidecar connected to it. And he goes, well, you can get in the sidecar. She goes, no, that'll make me your bitch. Sidecars are for bitches. And so she just gets on the back of the bike, and they go across town to a friend of his house. He tells Sam that he's got to go visit a friend, but he doesn't want to stay very long. As they start to hang out over the course of time while Andrew's back home in New Jersey, he starts to feel a little bit better. His head's a little bit clearer, and he's experiencing things that he hasn't experienced since he's been on these medications. So he's finding himself laughing and starting to get emotional about things that he was not able to before while on these meds for over the last 10 years. He's also got these deadbeat friends that just really like to party, get fucked up, and still live with mommy and daddy, including his best friend Mark, who is trying to have all these investments lying around the house and collect these cards that are going to be worth thousands that he can live off of and all this other shit like that. V, I'm sure you know people like this. I know people like this. I remember when I first left Santa Clarita a couple years after I graduated high school, and I was working at Warner Brothers, and I would go back and just see a lot of the same people kind of putzing around town and working at some of their jobs, and I don't know what they're doing now, and I truly don't care, but... It was an interesting look at post-high school for me. Now, granted, Andrew in this movie is in his 20s. I was 18 when I saw this movie, so I related to him to an extent. Now, granted, I've been on medication for my blood thinning. I've never been on any mind-altering medication. I've never been on antidepressants. I've never been on anything like that. And that's all that Andrew's been doped up on over the last decade while he's been living in LA trying to make it as an actor. So for the rest of the movie, we are along with Andrew Largeman while he hangs out with Sam and Mark, and they go on these adventures together, and we meet Sam's mom, played by Ann Dowd, which is a wonderful moment.
I love her.
Absolutely love her. She's fantastic. And Sam's mom and Sam have an adopted brother named Tatembe from Zimbabwe, and it's just a collection of characters that anybody in the world has likely come in contact with or known for years and reconnects with when you go home. And I've been a fan of this movie on top of, I think it's a very well written flick. I think Zach Braff did a great job directing it. I like him in this movie. I don't know who else could have played this role. I'm sure, V, you might have a few people that you could throw in the mix that could maybe have done it better. If not, cool. It's kind of fun always to see the writer and director play the lead in a movie, especially when it's good. And that's my opinion. So we'll get to V's in a few minutes. But the soundtrack on top of it has been in my rotation ever since seeing this movie. I have it on CD. This movie introduced me to the Shins. This movie introduced me to Frou Frou, who was actually Emotion Heap's first band, 07, and so many different bands that if I never seen this movie, probably never would have heard of otherwise. So in a way, I'm grateful for Zach Braff for that. And that's my opinion. I give this movie massive thumbs up. I give it about an A-. It's not a perfect movie. There are things towards the end that really irritate me that I wish did not exist in this movie. So, V, what do you think of Garden State, your first watch? Be gentle. Or let's have a conversation.
Well, you talk about actors who could have played this role.
When I was watching it this time, I was thinking,
Daniel Radcliffe would have been amazing.
Really? You think so?
He's so good in independent, weird, quirky movies, and he is serious range. If anybody's only ever seen him in Harry Potter, I beg of you to watch other movies of his.
I've seen him in a couple other movies. He was
highly
really good.
Talented, yes.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Weird Al movie?
I have not. I bought it though. I have not watched it yet. I've
Watch
heard
that
he's
movie.
great as Weird Al. But I really liked him in Horns. I liked him in The Lost City with Sandra Bullock.
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely seen him outside Harry Potter, and I have liked what he's done. That's an interesting take. Daniel Radcliffe. I think he was far too young when this movie came out.
When that
to
movie
actually
came out,
play
yeah.
Andrew Largeman, yeah. But if it were around now, if this movie were produced, maybe he could do it.
No,
but-
he's in his 30s now.
Oh shit! Well,
Yeah.
damn, they grow up so fast.
They really do. Anyway, off the top of my head, that's who I think I could pick for this movie. I think it would have helped me because I don't hate this movie. I didn't like this movie. And I really didn't like the first 3/4 of it. I liked towards the end, and then I didn't like the end.
Interesting.
So there's a couple reasons why, and I think it really comes down to there's a fine line that you have to toe between angst and whiny, and I think Zach Braff himself is on the side of whiny.
Interesting.
I just couldn't, and it's so funny because you and I have almost the same problem with our two movies. He's just such a bummer.
He's been medicated for 10 years.
No, I know.
He's coming out of it.
And
you
he's
know?
coming
Like,
out of it, and that's so true. But I just couldn't. I couldn't get into the story, and that's actually the biggest problem. It's not the specific character or the performance or anything like that. I just couldn't get into this story, and it made me somewhat uncomfortable. Probably because some of my own struggles in the past, right? And so maybe it hit too close to home. I don't know, but I really always feel uncomfortable when there's a drug scene with a bunch of unambitious people. I never want to be around those type of people. I don't want to be in a drug house. Like, that is never a scene I want to partake in.
Sure.
Ann Dowd always makes me anxious because I feel like she's either going to start killing you or put a curse on you or have a mental breakdown. Like, every single
Like
time.
in Hereditary?
Yeah, every single time we. But there are other ones too, and. Every single time we see
Yeah.
Ann Dowd, she's either crying about her kidnapped kid, or she's part of a cult, or she's gonna kill. Like, she's an incredible actress, but she picks all these roles that are so disturbing. Now I'm just always nervous around her.
Sure. Yeah, I get that.
Peter Sarsgaard is great in this film. He's great in everything, actually.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
I really like him as an actor, and in the beginning of the film when they're at the funeral for his mom and he goes and says hi to Peter, Peter's like, "Hey man, we're going to a party right after we bury your mom." And I was like, "Oh my God."
Probably go over there after we bury your mom.
That was pretty fun. I thought that was pretty funny, but
No, it is. That's true. That's life. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, some of the dialogue is so like, yeah, I know somebody that would say something like that.
Yeah.
I probably would say something like that.
well, and Natalie Portman and Ann Dowd, even though Natalie tries to say, "No, we're not bad owners." Yes, you
Yeah, pretty
absolutely
fucking
are
bad.
terrible dog owners, rodent owners, everything. Awful. It made me. I was like, as someone
You
who
didn't
works
take
in,
the wheel out. Now Jelly's dead.
and their dogs aren't trained and they're unfixed and there's so many problems.
I love that's one of my favorite parts too. When she's like, "Oh, these dogs are so hard to train," and she looks at Adam or Andrew and she goes, "Who's got the time to train them?" It's
Yeah.
like, yeah. Well, you could if you actually took the time to
God.
do it.
Awful.
Yeah, I love how they corner him in the corner of the house when he first walks in. It always cracks me up.
I think one of my biggest problems with the movie, though, is that I love that it's a snapshot. I love that he's coming out of it. It made me uncomfortable, which is probably why I didn't really like it. Not that it's a bad movie or bad performances or anything. I think that's the biggest problem, is that I was just like, oh God, he's facing so many things. And so, but the other thing is that at the end of 4 days, someone tells another character that they love them. And I'm like, dude, it's been 4 days. You can't say that. And I really hate it. You've just met him. You can't marry him.
Yeah. No, it's true. Actually, watching it at this time, when he says, when one character says that to the other, I was like, 4 days is a short amount of time.
Yeah.
But I feel like, again, if you're coming off of so many different like antidepressants and stuff, and you have somebody like this in your life that really is like the light of your new life, then of course I feel like you might be in love with that person. Now, who knows how long that's going to last? But at the same time, it's like, this is a new piece of cake, you know, like this is something that I've never experienced before. And even that, like, nobody else has really changed in his life. Like, Mark is still the same, still lives with his mom.
Everybody's the same, yeah.
Pretty much just drinking, like I said, getting fucked up. They haven't left town, they haven't seen the world. Whereas Andrew was like, I got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And goes to L.A., of all places. Of course, he wants to be an actor. And apparently all of that was based off of real Zach Braff's life. He actually did work at a Vietnamese restaurant right before he got the role as JD in Scrubs. So congrats to him for that, because I do really like Scrubs. I'm in the middle of a rewatch of the original series right now. Anyway, moving on with your take.
Well, as the saying goes, you need to spend a winter and a summer with someone before you know you love them.
Oh, I don't think I've heard that one before, but...
Well, it's all about getting to know someone and getting past their quote-unquote best behavior. Because when you start dating someone, you don't do some of your habits or what have you, or you try to
absolutely.
be on your best behavior. You don't get any fights because you're in the honeymoon stage, right?
Right.
So you don't truly know someone yet.
That's true. Solid point, yeah.
And I believe that you can only love someone if you truly know them.
Yeah.
Or it's real love, if you truly know them. So that was one of my big issues, but there are some pieces of the movie that really resonated with me. There's a moment when they're in the pool.
Oh, yeah.
And Zach Braff says, there's one point in your life where you realize the house you grew up in is no longer your home.
Mm-hmm.
That hit really hard for me. I really liked that somebody wrote that into a movie. I also really appreciated and empathized with the screaming into the abyss scene.
Yeah.
Definitely on board for that.
I shot a short film when I lived in New York, and I did an homage to Garden State in the middle of Times Square with my two actors. It was a lot of fun.
Nice. And that motorcycle is very cool. It's actually a vintage Ukrainian motorcycle called a Dnieper.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I love sidecars. It reminded me of the sidecars in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yes, yeah, big time.
But overall, I do think a coming home story of a young man who has some mental health issues, I do think the Silver Linings Playbook did it better.
Interesting.
But I will say I do love the soundtrack, the Postal Service, Frou Frou. I also got introduced to a bunch of bands. I do remember in college when I think I was a freshman in college when this movie came out.
You are a little older than I am.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. I remember all of my classmates and dorm mates, we all freaked out over this soundtrack and really got into the Postal Service and Death Cab for Cutie after that and Frou Frou. So yeah, I mean, overall, I'm glad I finally watched it. I know it's been a huge millennial movie for a really long time. I will never watch it again, but I don't hate it.
All right, that's cool.
So I think we're in the same boat on our movies this week.
Yeah, it sounds like we are.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
and that's fine. Seems like we both appreciated each other's picks this week, but definitely not loved our picks this week.
Well, I think that's a big thing for the genre, for dramas or coming of age or midlife crisis or what have you, right?
Yeah.
When it's so character focused, you have to be able to resonate with them in order to enjoy it. And you and I both had that same problem with each other's movies this week.
That's so interesting because I totally resonated with almost everybody in Garden State to an extent, like pieces of these people.
Right.
Like I said, I was never on any sort of mind-altering medication. I mean, I lived with my parents
until
until I was...
Smoked a lot of weed,
like,
though.
I smoked a shit ton of weed. Yeah, but I didn't do that until I graduated high school. I became a pothead after I graduated high school more so than anything because I was an athlete, so I didn't want to fuck my lungs up. And I knew mothers like Mark's mom, like 100% would smoke a joint with her son and his friends. And I love that scene in the morning after the party where we see Jim Parsons walking around in that
He has no
night
range,
suit.
By the way. He plays the exact same person in everything, in Hidden Figures, in The Big Bang Theory, and in this. He plays the same awkward character.
I guess you're right. I don't remember him in Hidden Figures actually at all.
I
remember that movie, but I don't remember him.
He was
in
that
it.
manager who went up against Taraji P. Henson a bunch and tried to push her off to the side. And remember, he spoke for her in a couple meetings.
That I do remember.
He's a
Yeah,
jerk.
okay. Yeah.
But
he was.
Yeah, he's the same.
He always does kind of play the same, weird character. But
Yeah.
I liked a lot of the dialogue especially between him and Peter Sarsgaard in that scene in particular. And Gene Smart was great in that few minutes as well. When I remember when I went and saw this movie with my dad, my dad in particular was just like laughing his ass off for majority of this movie. And halfway through, he leans over to me and goes, I knew every one of these guys growing up. And I know that a lot of them haven't even left Huntington, Long Island. And I'm like, shit. And then 10 years after me leaving Santa Clarita, I go back there and I'm like, holy shit. These people haven't left. And of course, I'd go to parties and see the same people at those parties. It was, super... Again, I could resonate more with the backdrop of Garden State. I knew women like Sam growing up. I still know women like Sam. And I thought Natalie Portman was great in this movie. She was Zach Braff's only choice to play Sam, which is pretty cool. Wow. Yeah, I thought she did a great job. I'm also a fan of Natalie Portman. I don't know what your stance on her is. I know my wife is not a fan, which just kind of sucks.
I could take it or leave it. I loved her in The Professional back in the day when she was very young.
Wow, when she was like 8 years old.
I didn't like the prequels to Star Wars, but that wasn't her fault, obviously.
No, it's definitely not her fault. No, yeah.
I
Did you see V for Vendetta?
Oh, that's right. But I like
and Black Swan?
I mean, no, I haven't seen Black Swan. Hugo Weaving is incredible in V for Vendetta, though.
Yeah, V for Vendetta is a bitchin' ass flick.
So it's not about her, it's about him that
Sure.
I love it. So she's very good at crying. Let's put it that way.
She is. She can cry very well. Yeah.
But I'm otherwise extremely ambivalent about her.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I might have to introduce you to Black Swan. That movie. I mean, that's what she.
Yeah,
won an
I've been
Oscar
waiting
for
for you
so.
to actually, because I figured because I
great.
know you like it and it's
Yeah.
right up your alley.
Big time. I really don't have a whole lot for this movie, which is unfortunate, but the half-hour documentary that I've watched a couple of times on the making of Garden State is really more about the production of how the first AD actually kind of does a lot of the work on the set, while the director is directing actors, and, you know, the first AD makes sure everybody shows up and make sure equipment's getting set up and all this other shit. That's what I did for a very long time, especially with some of the features that I first AD'd, and it was always interesting to me to see documentaries with interviews with the first AD or seeing like clips of the first AD. And a lot of times the director is just standing right next to the first AD while the first AD is on the walkie, being like, all right, let's get props over here. Let's get grip and electric to set this up. Let's get camera over here. And like that's what we do. That's what an assistant director does, while the director can work on his craft, so to speak. And a lot of times in TV, when I would see that, I would just see the director sitting at Video Village texting on their phone and not really even talking to the cast and directing anything. So it was pretty refreshing to see not only just the first AD and Zach Braff really be in cahoots with each other on how this movie was made. It's not always going to be a collaborative effort, and it always irritated me when I saw that there was not much collaboration in certain movies that I was involved in. But anyway, that's not really what we're here to talk about, although it kind of is, because we like to incorporate our
That
own...
is exactly what we're here to talk about.
I know. Right when I said that, I'm like, no, it's exactly what the fuck we're here for. When people don't know what a first AD, maybe they don't have any idea what a second AD does, which I did for many years as well. But making of documentary on this, half-hour long, very good. The budget for this movie was $2.5 million, so it's $2.5 million less than your pick for the way back. And I think to an extent that makes sense, because way back, Steve Carell was pretty big by then. Tony Collette, Allison Janney, Sam Rockwell,
It was just
all of them.
bigger cast with a more expensive
bigger
location.
cast. Definitely. And this movie was shot entirely on location in the Garden State. None of it was shot in Los Angeles, except for the few scenes that open up the movie, which is really cool. I'm glad that we got to see neighborhoods and suburbia of Garden State. I actually lived in West Orange, New Jersey for a summer, and I gotta tell you, it was beautiful. It really was. And I never understood why people were like, oh, New Jersey. Ugh, why? Why would you want to go there? Beautiful place to hang out and spend a summer. Now, the director of photography of this movie was Lawrence Sher. I never heard of him by name, but he was the cinematographer on the first and only good Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. He was also the cinematographer on The Hangover, and he just did one of our favorite movies of this year. He just did Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride.
Nice, and it was the first and only good Hangover movie as well, so there's that.
Yeah, the first one was definitely the best of the three. I thought 3 was a little bit better than 2, but not very much better.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I won't talk about another credit of his that you and I watched that we absolutely hated, but I will actually now tell you about it.
Yeah.
Black Adam, he was the DP on Black Adam.
And he never worked again.
I know, right? Oh, boy.
God. Can you believe that live-action Moana movie that's coming out? Speaking of...
Oh, gosh, no.
The
It looks
Rock.
worse than the animated version. It's insane how bad it looks.
That wig is the most ridiculous thing I've seen on anyone's head ever, and that includes
on Dwayne Johnson?
all of the wigs on Queen Charlotte in Bridgerton.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, I'm not watching that film. We'll have to flip for it to see who takes one for the team on that one.
Oh, boy.
Or we
You
could
know,
just
I
not
likely
watch
just
it. You
do it.
will. You will. I was going to say we could just not watch
Yeah.
it, and I know you're going to go watch it anyway.
I'll probably check it out.
Oh my god.
Every now and then I gotta go to a bad movie to remind me that there are still good movies
Why?
out
Then
there.
you're supporting that bad movie and reinforcing
know,
production
I
companies to be
know.
making bad movies.
I know, it's terrible. I have a problem.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm always telling people that complain about Hollywood only releasing sequels and remakes. You need to go to the original movies and
Yeah.
give your money to them in order to give Hollywood a message.
Yes.
Project Hail Mary, perfect example.
Yeah. Now, Zach Braff, like we mentioned before, is going through a bit of a detox, and Zach Braff actually pulled a lot of the information and knowledge that is explained in this movie from his stepfather and his mother. His mother and stepfather, are both psychologists, and his mother was a therapist, and a lot of the scenes, especially the pharmaceuticals in this movie, were pinpoint accurate on what Andrew Largeman was going throughout his life. So it wasn't just like, oh, let's give him this. Truthfully, I like when that happens. It's one of those minute details in movies, especially dealing with mental health. Zach Braff was writing this movie not only while he was trying to make it as an actor in L.A., but while he was still going to college, and he originally titled this movie Large's Ark, which is an interesting title because his last name is Largeman.
Oh, Large's Ark, yeah.
Yeah, Large's Ark.
2 on the nose.
But exactly, yes. The producers and a couple other people were like, hey, why don't you change it to Garden State? It's a little bit easier to swallow. And I like the title Garden State. It's
perfect.
It's a sweet title, yeah. And one thing I did forget to mention about Lawrence Sher, the DP of this movie, when they were shooting the scene where Andrew gets to work and the gas pump is still in the gas tank, Lawrence, the DP, was like, this seems just a bit ridiculous. Has anybody ever done that? Guess what he did 2 weeks later? I've never done that, but I've seen videos of people doing it. It's like a $3,000 offense if you drive off with a piece of the fucking gas pump in your gas tank. Apparently, it's a really expensive thing.
I had a couple of friends in college who I helped move, and they were driving the U-Haul truck, and I was behind him, and I watched her drive away with the nozzle.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Whoopsies.
That's
why I never go back
terrible.
into the car when I'm pumping gas. Ever.
Oh, yes. No, never. I know. Yeah, I see people do that all the time. And they sit there with their car running nowadays. People, I don't understand.
Hey, isn't that dangerous? It's like smoking. Don't do that.
Yeah.
When gas is
the
running.
amount of people I see smoking at the gas station where I live. Now, granted, they're not by pumps,
right?
But they're right outside the store. You are stupid.
It's right next to the propane tanks. It's fine.
So insane. Speaking of the soundtrack in this movie, which you and I both seem to be fans of, Zach Braff, similar to the writer of Stranger Than Fiction, actually, sent the script along with burned CDs of the songs that he wanted to play during certain scenes in this movie. So not only did he plan it out minute by minute while he was writing where songs would be placed, he sent it to everybody, including producers, on how the movie was going to sound while these scenes were going on. And I thought that was actually really awesome.
Yeah.
And even the orchestral soundtrack, which is mostly a acoustic guitar, it's lovely. I think it's a very nice, calming soundtrack. And I wish that had been like the last 2 tracks of the soundtrack itself, because I would have loved to have driven around with that kind of music playing.
It all is a perfect fit for the tone of this movie.
Absolutely. Now, we talked about how Sam is not a very good pet owner. The dead hamster Jelly in this movie was a real taxidermied hamster. That was not just a little stuffed animal.
Oh, practical effects.
Yeah, we love practicality here.
Yeah.
I know I mentioned the budget already, $2.5 million for Garden State. The film was released on August 20th of 2004, within like a month and a half of me graduating high school, like I said. And my dad and I went and saw it down at the Lemley in Pasadena. Went and had a good dinner and talked about it, and I don't think my dad cried, but I've cried a couple times watching this movie. I didn't this time around, but every now and then it gets me in the feels, and I can understand V if it doesn't get you, but it's all good. The domestic box office gross for Garden State was $26.7 million on a $2.5 million budget.
Almost exactly as mine.
Yeah, and the gross worldwide was $35.8 million on $2.5 million. It did pretty damn well. I'm actually surprised seeing these numbers because I don't remember.
Oh, no. I remember it being huge.
Oh, really?
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
Okay.
Everybody in college was talking about this movie.
Oh, sweet. All right. Well, there you go. Always happy to contribute to the domestic box office of a movie that I am a fan of. Glad that you had a good time watching it, V. I didn't think you were going to love it because of certain reasons, but it's all good. Like I said, glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad I was able to bring it to the podcast. And I'll be honest with you, it's from 2004, 22 years ago. You saying it was a very big thing. I don't remember it being as big. I remember there were a couple of people that I knew that went and saw it, and they were fans of it, but I was the one that introduced more people to this movie than the other way around. So
probably
that is Gardens.
You weren't in college yet, and so I think that was more the demographic because he's like 25 or 26 on the movie, right?
Yeah, that could be a solid thing. I think you're absolutely right. Garden State is not streaming anywhere for free, but you can rent it on Amazon or Apple. I watched my DVD copy, and that is Garden State. And V, I'm curious, would you watch the Way Back with your grandmother?
Totally. Yes, this is a very tame family movie. It's a family drama. There's no sex. There's no violence. And would you watch Garden State with your grandma?
I don't think my grandma would enjoy Garden State. I think she would find it too boring.
But again, no sex, no violence. It's darker than mine, but I think that you just need to be over 18 for it to even resonate with you.
Yeah, that wraps us up here at Movies You Miss Podcast for episode 212. Thank you guys for joining us. Please don't come at me too hard about what I had to say on V's movie about introverted people. I still love you all out there. I do not discriminate against anybody. Next week is going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to get into next week's episode. V, are you ready to tell everybody what we're doing for next week?
After this week's movies, we decided to go the more comedic route and pick 2 movies from the same director. I went to the worldwide premiere of my pick, actually in Cannes, which was really fun. So I met the director and the entire cast. It was a whole lot of fun. Everybody laughed in the theater. They got a standing ovation. I was very grateful to be there. I chose a movie that the sequel is better than the original, Kevin Smith's Clerks 2.
Oh, it absolutely is so much better than the original.
Yes. And the budget's a lot higher, too.
Oh, I'll bet it is, yeah. Can't wait to watch that one again. It'll be a great revisit. I probably watch that one like once or twice a year when I need something to really crack my ass up.
I haven't watched it in a couple years, so I'm really excited to revisit it.
Nice.
It is definitely a raunchy comedy because it is Kevin Smith.
Yep.
I also could have chose a couple other of his movies. I'm more than not a fan of his. I love Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is great. I love Clerks 2, and I love my pick.
And what is your pick?
My pick is from 1995, way before Clerks 2, 31 freaking years ago. This is my favorite Kevin Smith movie because I was exactly this when I was growing up into my teenage years. I was a mall rat. So we are going to watch Mallrats with Jason Lee, Shannon Doherty, Ben Affleck, Joey, Lauren Adams, and Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, and a wonderful cameo by who we will tell you about later.
Yes.
And mine is also not available on streaming, but you can rent it on Amazon or Apple for $3.99. And I actually don't have a physical copy of Mallrats. There is a 4K that dropped, but it's always been like $45, and I just have not been able to pull the trigger on it.
No. That's like a less than $10 purchase.
Well, if it's 4K, it can be $25.
Oh my God! It doesn't need to be in 4K. What do you need a 4K?
No, it actually kind of
of
really doesn't. It really doesn't. No,
buy a
the charm of
Blu-ray of it.
Yeah, Blu-ray or DVD. I do have it on VHS. Maybe I'll pull my VHS out. That's what I'll do.
Well, Clerks 2 is actually streaming on YouTube and Tubi for free if you guys want to watch it.
With commercials.
Well, yes, but it is still free, and I want to give people the option.
Yes, no, absolutely. Thanks for joining us, guys. Please do rate, review, subscribe, follow us on all social media. Don't hate me for my opinions of AFV's movie this week. We'll see you guys next week. In the meantime, film is a form of art, and art, all opinions are valid, except if you think.
Introverts aren't real.
Didn't say they weren't real. Okay, we'll see you guys next week. Cheers, everybody.
Bye-bye.